Gallagher, up to 6 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. No one in this chamber wanted to mark this milestone. 1 year since Putin's illegal invasion on Ukrainian sovereignty. Though we are marking it as a testament to the resilience of the Ukrainian people in the face of unprovoked barbarism, but oh, how we wish we could be marking the end of the conflict. I've spoken many times on Ukraine in this Parliament, most recently in 2018, when we marked Holodomor Remembrance Day, a collective reflection from this chamber on the Holodomor genocide. Can I thank my colleague Jenny Minto for bringing her important members' debate last night on the Special Tribunal on the Ukraine. I hope when we do so, we also revisit and the UK identifies the Holodomor as a genocide, as many countries like Canada have. That systematic man-made famine perpetrated by the Stalinist regime in an attempt to crush Ukrainian identity and erase the community of people it perceived as a threat. But the Ukrainian people endured. They endured in the face of that extreme oppression, and it is no surprise that they have resisted Putin till today. When war broke out last year, I recall Philip O'Brien, Professor of Strategic Studies at the University of St Andrews. He was probably a lone voice in saying that, in his view, this would be a war of attrition, that the Ukrainian people would resist and the conflict would be drawn out. He was almost a lone voice. And just as he has been right, we have had to adjust our response, which has mainly been humanitarian, to one of long-term support rather than short-term immediate support. The Super Sponsor Scheme has supplied much-needed route to sanctuary for tens of thousands of vulnerable people. More than 23,000 Ukrainians have arrived in Scotland. The UK Government's military support for the Ukraine has been considerable, but I would reiterate its calls for humanitarian support to be sustained, and that devolved local administrations need to have a Year 2 funding and not a reduced tariff, as is planned in January, and therefore we need more support for the Ukrainians we are supporting in this country. Last summer, I was privileged to host the Ukrainian Cultural Leadership Dialogue at Edinburgh's International Culture Summit. The event brought together political and cultural leaders from the countries who wish to strengthen Ukraine's international standing and support their institutions at this time. I also attended the very moving Postcards from Ukraine event in the Parliament, and it drove home the reality of what Ukrainians are facing. And as a picture paints 1,000 words, we saw images such as the Kostian Tenivka Mosque, the Church of the Ascension of the Lord, Kharkiv National Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre, and even the memorial to the victims of totalitarianism. It was so moving and so profound, and I urge everyone to see it. And I've broken the prop rule, Presiding Officer. I will also encourage people to look to the Usher Hall on Sunday night for the Salute Ukraine concert, which brings together Scotland's culture and that of the Ukrainian people in support of their challenges at this time. I have been very fortunate to connect with Ukrainians in my Motherwell and Wishaw constituency. Our community has shown its spirit, and the Ukrainian families should know they are very welcome. And also I have made links with some of the people on the ship due to my committee roles. The importance of these links, these friendships, cannot be overstated. And the cultural connections are essential expressions of our country's solidarity with the people of the Ukraine. I thank the Presiding Officer for her ongoing work to ensure this Parliament stands in unity with Ukraine, and Oberig's stirring rendition of the Ukrainian national anthem in our Parliament was a timely reminder of that resolve in the face of oppression. I was pretty moved at Murrayfield a few weeks ago at my own national anthem, but I will never forget the atmosphere in our Parliament the other evening when that beautiful choir sang their cultural folk songs, but specifically the national anthem. And when I reflect on the words of that national anthem, I think that it expresses everything we need to know about the people of Ukraine. Ukraine's glory has not perished, nor her freedom. Upon us, brother Ukrainians, fate will smile once more. Our enemies will vanish like dew in the morning sun, and we too shall rule, brothers in a free land of our own. Slava Ukraine.